All right, last day at EMS. I didn't have much of a plan today. Pretty tired. I'm like now acclimated, kind of acclimated to this time, and now I'm tired for some reason. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, so I wanted to mess around with the two sources of uncertainty, because when else are you gonna have two sources of uncertainty in a case? So I'm just doing like a mega, everything is randomizing each other type of patch. So I have one pulse coming out of the 281 that's kind of driving everything. And then I have some outputs kind of crossing into, or from like different of the two modules, going into like the probability or the quantization of each other. And yeah, so then the other bases of the sound sources, I've got two, I'm using the two principal oscillator outputs for these two. They're tuned relative to each other, and they're both going into the odd and even of the 296 and coming out of the programmed outputs. And then I've got it set up to where I've got a long, so that original 281 is just doing full 10 and 10 sweeps. And so that's kind of sweeping through the harmonics of this, just with the frequency, leaving the width at this kind of setting that really nicely pinged everything else. And yeah, so all these outputs are going into symmetry, order, and timbre on both of them, and kind of crossing up, just like making it as random as possible. I also have, let's see, I have sample and hold. So I have two envelopes going into the 292 for these two sounds. And those are being kind of crossed up. So these are, let's see, what else is going on here? How are these getting triggered? Oh, I think, yeah, I've got this very fast envelope going, and that's triggering this sample and hold. And I have these two then going into the triggers of these two envelopes. So they're kind of firing back and forth. And then, yeah, I have the actual sample and hold CV coming out and crossing up on these two. So they kind of work opposite of each other. So to hear what that sounds like, crank it up. So at every peak of this one, it's going to kind of change all the settings at once, which will then in turn change all the settings down here. I've been listening after the 296 for quite a while, so it's just kind of fun to focus in on it and try different stuff. And it's pretty. Yeah, then I can kind of hear the envelope switching up a little bit. Yeah, I then have also the duplicate outputs going into the 288 and running. So you just get a kind of noisier signal, and quad panned. And then I had like some bass notes and kind of, let's see. Oops, sorry. And then I had pitches kind of going to all these notes too. So yeah, you get cool stuff like that every once in a while, where it hits a good setting. And then it's going to be something semi-different the next sweep, so yeah, I'm going to pull this apart, and then I got the okay from Daniel, and I went across the studio and grabbed this. So we'll see what I can do with this.